Join us on Patreon and become part of our journey to uncover history's untold stories. Your support helps us create in-depth content, bring hidden narratives to life, and keep history alive for everyone.
The history of North America, its peoples, conflicts, alliances, and transformations, is vast and complex. Within its folds lie countless narratives that have either been erased or marginalized over time. Among these are the compelling tales of the Black Lenape, a people whose identity and contributions have largely been overlooked by mainstream history. They are the forgotten warriors of the East Coast, a hybrid community forged at the crossroads of cultures, resistance, and survival. Their story is one of resilience, adaptation, and an enduring connection to the land they once called home. To understand the Black Lenape, one must first delve into the history of the Lenape people, often referred to as the Delaware Indians. They were among the first indigenous groups to encounter European settlers in the early 17th century. Their ancestral lands, known as Lenape, spanned parts of modern-day New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. The Lenape were a sophisticated society, skilled in agriculture, hunting, diplomacy, and trade. They were also deeply spiritual, their lives interwoven with the rhythms of nature and the teachings of their elders. The arrival of Europeans disrupted this harmony. Colonial expansion brought disease, displacement, and warfare, shattering traditional ways of life. Over time, as European settlers encroached further into Lenape territories, alliances and intermingling between indigenous and African peoples became more frequent. The Black Lenape emerged from these interactions, a testament to human resilience and the blending of cultural identities under oppressive circumstances. By the 17th century, enslaved Africans were brought to the Americas, including regions inhabited by the Lenape. The enslaved, and in some cases free, Africans often escaped from European settlements, seeking refuge among indigenous communities. The Lenape, known for their inclusive nature and resistance to European domination, sometimes provided sanctuary to these fugitives. Over generations, these interactions evolved into marriages, alliances, and shared cultural practices, leading to the formation of distinct communities where African and Lenape identities intertwined. This blending was not merely a survival strategy, but a profound cultural synthesis. African knowledge of agriculture, metallurgy, and resistance tactics combined with Lenape expertise in the land and their spiritual traditions. The resulting community carried the bloodlines, wisdom, and resilience of both ancestries. These Black Lenape not only survived the harsh realities of colonial expansion, but also resisted it actively, often joining or leading rebellions against colonial authorities. The Black Lenape were more than a product of cultural intersection. They were warriors in every sense of the word. As European colonization intensified, so too did the oppression of both indigenous and African peoples. The Lenape faced relentless displacement, while Africans endured the horrors of slavery. Together, these groups formed a formidable resistance against colonial forces, often staging joint uprisings and sabotaging European efforts to dominate the region. The proximity of Lenape to major colonial centers like New Amsterdam, later New York, and Philadelphia made the Lenape, and by extension, the Black Lenape, key players in the early resistance movements. Their knowledge of the terrain and ability to navigate dense forests, rivers, and mountains gave them a strategic advantage. Oral traditions speak of Black Lenape leaders who rallied their people to resist encroachments, employing guerrilla tactics to disrupt supply lines, ambush troops, and protect their communities. However, survival came at a great cost. The Lenape were systematically displaced through treaties that were often coerced or outright fraudulent. The Black Lenape, already marginalized due to their dual heritage, faced even greater challenges. They were seen as outsiders by European settlers and, at times, even by some indigenous groups wary of alliances with African-descended peoples. Yet, the Black Lenape endured, their cultural identity evolving in the face of relentless adversity. The cultural synthesis of the Black Lenape is one of their most enduring legacies. Their communities preserved elements of both African and Lenape traditions, creating a unique cultural tapestry. This included spiritual practices that blended Lenape rituals with African diasporic religions, culinary traditions that fused indigenous and African ingredients, and music that echoed the rhythms of both continents. Language was another area of profound synthesis. While many Black Lenape adopted Lenape dialects, they also integrated African linguistic elements, creating a unique form of communication that served as a bond within their communities. Storytelling, a cornerstone of both African and Lenape cultures, became a vital tool for preserving history, teaching survival skills, and passing down spiritual knowledge. Despite their contributions, the Black Lenape faced systematic efforts to erase their identity. Colonial authorities often refused to recognize them as distinct communities, categorizing them instead as free blacks, mulattoes, or simply Indians. This erasure was part of a broader strategy to divide and conquer, undermining alliances between indigenous and African-descended peoples. Yet, the Black Lenape's legacy persisted in the oral histories and cultural practices passed down through generations. By the 19th century, the pressures of displacement and assimilation had scattered the Black Lenape across North America. Many were forced to migrate westward alongside other Lenape groups during the infamous Trail of Tears, while others integrated into African American or broader indigenous communities. Despite these dispersals, the Black Lenape identity survived, often hidden in plain sight. In recent years, there has been a growing movement to reclaim and celebrate the history of the Black Lenape. Descendants and scholars alike are piecing together fragmented histories, uncovering the stories of resilience and resistance that define this community. Efforts to preserve Lenape as a cultural and historical landmark are also gaining momentum, ensuring that the contributions of the Lenape and the Black Lenape are not forgotten. The story of the Black Lenape is a testament to the human capacity for resilience and adaptation. It is a story of people who, despite facing unimaginable challenges, refused to be erased. They forged a unique identity at the crossroads of African and indigenous cultures, leaving an indelible mark on the history of the East Coast. In remembering the Black Lenape, we honor their struggles and celebrate their contributions to the tapestry of American history. Their legacy is not just one of survival, but of thriving against the odds, a reminder of the enduring strength of cultural identity and community in the face of adversity.